NHL Nightly with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Perlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barry. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Sorry for the long delay. Wanted to have a show last Thursday, but it just wasn't doable. And then Friday, my wife had surgery. So just a lot going on. But hey, thanks for everybody being here. Appreciate y'all. Perlo's here, but he's not paying attention. So, and we should have Rico any moment. I know Rico already said he would come in. So, anyway, appreciate all you. No hockey on tonight. Just have a myriad of things that we have to talk about. And thanks for hanging out. Appreciate everybody coming. This will be the today and tomorrow will be the only shows of the week because of the Thanksgiving holiday and the fact that I am working on recovering from whatever I'm going through. But thank you so much for everybody that that's coming out. I love seeing everybody. Yeah, Jay, excellent question that you asked earlier before we were on. We got to talk about my Golden Knights and what's up with them. Why are they losing? Gives me concern. I wouldn't be that concerned this early in the show, in the season. I would just say it's early and you're going to lose some games. That's just how it goes. So, anyway, I appreciate you guys all coming in. And they did do the like Isaac said, they did do the White House visit and all that. So it is kind of like a long stretch of a road trip that, sometimes those road trips don't go as well. They're an older team. They're probably a little bit better playing at home and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So, and we've got Rico. Rico, what's up? Perlo's here, but I don't know what he's doing. So, he's not on.
He just messaged me and said, "When are we starting?"
Well, tell him I already started the show 30 minutes ago. So I don't know what he's doing. He's there, but he's not on camera. And I hollered for him. I showed up 5 minutes early or 3 minutes early, whatever, and he didn't answer me. So I don't know what he's doing. So what's up, buddy? How's it going? Long time no see. Feels like it's been a month since I saw you in Toronto. For those of you that don't know, I went to the Hockey Hall of Fame and met a lot of people. And Rico and I and Hot Take Hockey got to go to a really good Canucks Maple Leafs game. It was a good time. We haven't had a chance to talk about it for the group.
Yeah, dude. Best night I've had in a long time, man. Just the laughs, dude. The stories, man. Oh man, it was like we knew each other from another life or something, man. When you and Hot Take were hanging out, it's just like, man, it was just buddies hanging out. It's like we knew each other forever. I know you've known him a while, but that's the first time I've really met him and even talked to him for that.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, you guys have the common bond of being Maple Leaf fans, right? I feel like that's kind of a shared hardship. It's like going through basic training or something, So, yeah, I would text him, but I don't have my phone with me, and I started the show, so I messaged on Twitter, but he's like kind of worthless when it comes to that. So, if he shows up, he shows up. I don't know how long I can hang in there, but I was just going over with Jay. Was a little bit concerned. He asked a question early, 2 hours before the show started. In fact, I really appreciate Jay. I mean, he's one of Perlo's original fans there. He's worried about his Vegas Golden Knights. I just said, they're going to lose a couple of games. This is bound to happen. Not like the team over my what would be my right shoulder, but y'all's left, I guess. the Edmonton Oilers. Wow. That one's gonna be this is an all-timer, isn't it?
Yeah, they're in rough shape, man. I mean, they fired the coach after a win. I think that's the last win they got, wasn't it?
Well, so I read a little bit about that, and it sounded like they had already made the determination to fire him, that they were just gonna wait till they got back to Edmonton. So he coached the one more game against Seattle, and they won that game. So
that interview by Mark Spector, the guy that pokes at McDavid all the time and asks him those questions that makes McDavid want to throw him through a wall. Remember, he asked him, like, would you rather win a game 4-1 or would you rather win a game 7-5 or something?
Yeah, I mean, so there was a big Twitter war on that today. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah.
But apparently Tim Peel, former referee, messaged Spector and then kind of disclosed it, which, look, I kind of think is kind of douchebaggery. Like, if you're DMing somebody, it's kind of considered it's a private conversation.
For sure.
And Frank Saravelli kind of lit him up for it. And then, Tim didn't take very kind. Look, here's just, Kiprio said it today. I don't know if you heard. I mean, the writers are going to stick up for the writers. It's their job to cover the team. And for the fans that are listening and watching, this would be a great time to have Perlo. Again, what are you doing, Perlo? Let's try to see if we can get Perlo. Perlo, are you there? Whatever. Okay. But our Edmonton correspondent, look, if there's not 1 second in my mind that Mark Spector wants this team to be good. He doesn't want to cover the dumpster fire that has become the Edmonton Oilers dumpster fire. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I saw his tweet today too about how he thought they looked good against, dude, first of all, they didn't look good against the Florida Panthers. I thought Florida was missing their number 1 center, and Barkov did not play. Okay. And they just got back Ekblad and Montour, who you could tell have rink rust big time. McDavid was awarded a penalty shot I thought was marginal. They could have gotten a power play. They're not scoring on the power play at all. I think the NHL cracked the code on whatever they were doing this last year and has just been like, okay, you're not going to be able to score the way you did last year. It's just, McDavid would do that little drop it into fifth and circle around and make move, and get space and work space and then beat the goalie short side. I don't know. I just feel like they've figured it out and they're not playing a defensive game. The coach even said, well, I'll let you know when we play a full 60. Yeah, I mean, they just have not done that. They have not played a 60-minute game. Even in the ones I feel like they've won, they've kind of gotten away with, look, San Jose, okay, it's a lesser – they lost to them. The Seattle is not a great team this year. Seattle choked away a lead against Calgary yesterday, gave up a late goal, and then lost in overtime. That's another game that was great yesterday. Did you get to watch the Boston-Tampa game, or were you spending a little bit of time watching the Monday night? I know everybody was into the Monday night. I was so bored by that game. There were so many flags. And I was really trying to watch the hockey, and Tampa scored with 4.8 seconds left, then won in overtime. I was really impressed with them. And then, they're our friend Logan Hacker's in here, big Tampa fan. You're going to get Vasilevsky back. I just think that team is ready. They're primed for bear there. They're going to be good. they haven't defended as well as they have before, but again, they got some new players, and I don't know, man. I like what I'm seeing from Tampa. Obviously, Boston wasn't that their first loss in a while. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, going back on the Edmonton thing, did you hear they were talking to Justin Williams today as well? And they were asking him, what do you think the Edmonton should do from here on in? What do you think the Oilers should do? And I mean, they kind of put him on the spot, but the one thing he said that resonated is the only way to maybe figure this out is for Edmonton to go out there at the start of the game and just try to play defensively. Just try to shut the other team down. Don't even think about offense. Just try and shut the other team down and see if you could even fucking do it. Because if not, you're just going to have to play your game and play those 6-4 wins and stuff and just go pedal to the metal.
Well, that's what they did last year, right? I mean, they just outscored teams. And that works great until you get into the playoffs and teams know how to shut you the fuck down. And I'm just I love Justin Williams. He's a great player and champion, and he played on the Caps, and it's just a guy, Kings, obviously another team I love. And dude, I heard John Scott say today, they're just not good. They're not a good team. They're not a good team. He goes, and the weird anomaly is they have arguably the two best players in the NHL on them. So it shouldn't be like that. But here's the other thing. Those guys aren't playing great either. I know McDavid had a couple points, and I know Draisaitl's had a game where he had a few 4.9 or whatever in between all that. But for the most part, I don't know where McDavid is in the scoring. I'll look it up right now, in fact. But he's not. I think he's not in the top 100 or something. It's.
I think Quinn Hughes is leading the league in points, isn't he? Doesn't he have?
Well, I thought the top three guys were all. By the way, Ice-X
or his defenseman anyway.
Spicy 4K. Thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate you. Again, don't know what our friend Perlo's doing. Would love to have him here. We're talking
maybe he's in the bathroom. He's got his webcam on. He might be reading a comic.
Here, hold on. Let me get my thing. You take over.
It might have been Taco Tuesday for Perlo, and he might be taking a long one. Yeah, Ice-X, man, the Avs Preds, holy Jesus, jumping. That was horrible, man.
All right,
just when you think the Avalanche are getting their shit together, they go and fucking lose in the last minute of the game, and the Predators score 2 goals.
I don't think Nashville's as bad as everybody says they are. They just aren't. Yeah, so Quinn Hughes does lead the NHL in points right now with 30. Okay. It goes Quinn Hughes, David Pastrnak, JT Miller, Nikita Kucherov, Elias Pettersson, Cale Makar, William Nylander, Artemi Panarin, Sam Reinhart, Jesper Bratt. Nice draft pick by me in our league. Mm-hmm. Mikko Rantanen, Braden Point. 15th in the league is Leon Draisaitl. 15th. And he has 6 goals, 16 assists. He's a -1. I don't even know where McDavid is. He's not in the top 50.
Jeez.
Yeah,
well, you got a couple Ferraris parked in the driveway, meaning McDavid and Draisaitl, and they're not leading the race. That team's in trouble. So
the good news if you're Edmonton is maybe there's some teams in the West that we thought would be better that aren't better. Colorado, like our friend here, Ice-X, is saying, he's like, I was freaking out with joy when the Preds tied it, and then they got the lead. I was screaming as a Preds fan. Yeah, Colorado has been not great this year. They've been okay. They've just been mediocre. To me, they're not a cup contending team right now, the way they're playing. Toronto was awesome, Salty, and we'll get into it a little bit more. I sent Steve a text, so he'll figure it out. I mean, I'll just tell you, guys, barring a like catastrophe here at the house, I start on time. That's the military in me. I don't like being late. I hate being late. If someone says to be somewhere at 6:00, I'm there at 5:50. That's just how I roll. So I don't like wasting your time. I appreciate you guys coming on the show. Once again, this is NHL Nightly. I'm your host, Jeremiah Maxwell. With me is Rico, sometimes Perlo. This is sponsored by Fans First Sports Network. Appreciate you. We're talking a little bit about where's Edmonton. And it's, I agree. They're just not a great team. So Connor McDavid is 62nd in scoring. Travis Sanheim has more points. By the way, McDavid is a -5 this year. Another team that I think has been a little underwhelming is New Jersey, but they've had some injuries, so they've got some excuses. So,
the Hart Trophy race is wide open right now. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, I think right now you could make some money by dropping some cash on Quinn Hughes. You usually are going to see a forward winning it. Pasternak is a good one. Boston looks like they look just as good as they did this year. Of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it. The Milan Lucic situation. Did you were able to read the account from the Boston PD?
I didn't read it. I know he pleaded not guilty, and that mugshot looked like he had a pretty rough night there. So I didn't read the description.
So this has been reported, so I'm not talking out of turn. He came home drunk, was looking for his phone. I don't know if he just misplaced it or he thought his wife took it or whatever. She didn't know where it was. He didn't believe her. She turned away to walk away. He grabbed her by the hair and pulled her down. Some things were broken in the house. I don't think she was severely harmed or anything, but that's the initial reports that the police took. That's been reported in the Boston media. I think he's probably not playing another NHL game. Pretty sad. It sounds like this has happened once before in 2011 with a girlfriend. I don't know if this was the girl he ended up marrying or what have you, but yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to his family. I hope he gets the help he needs. I thought what Brad Marchand said was pretty appropriate, but it's like pretty rough, man. Like, nobody wants to be in that kind of relationship, and anyway, pretty tough. And again, don't want to judge the guy, but sometimes it's better if you don't drink. So
yeah, and he's got a good support system. I mean, the Boston organization is just top notch, right up to their coach that's been through it already too. So if there's maybe somebody you could turn to in Jim Montgomery for maybe a little shoulder to lean on or something, I'm sure he'll be there for him too.
Yeah, so I've been hearing a lot from the Canadian media that Edmonton is going to be okay. Justin Bourne doesn't want to wake up and smell the roses. I mean, they have 5 wins. They have 11 points. The teams in front of them, I mean, as bad as we said Colorado is, they still have 22 points. So right now, I think the top 3 in the Central, Colorado, Winnipeg, and Dallas, those aren't changing, right? You agree?
Yeah, I think you're right there.
So let's say the Pacific, Vegas, Vancouver, LA. Now it looks like Vegas is just 1 point ahead of Vancouver. And, I think that's going to be how it's going. I think that's how it's going to be. I think it's I think those are the top 6 teams, and then you've got room for 2 more. Now, Seattle's at 19 points, Anaheim's at 18, St. Louis is at 19, Arizona's at 18, Nashville's at 14, Minnesota's at 14, Calgary's at 17. So right now, if the playoffs started tomorrow, it would be Seattle and St. Louis.
And Seattle's played 20 games too. Right? They played 3 more than St. Louis, 2 more than pretty much the rest of the league as well.
Yeah. And Edmonton has only played 17. I get that. But they haven't even played a difficult team this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, LA looks incredible. I mean, LA manhandled Arizona last night in Arizona. Arizona doesn't lose at home. I think they won like 70% of their games last year at home. And they're a better team this year than they were last year. Did you hear that stat on Kipper and Bourne today where they were talking about like primary shots, like Matthews and Marner lead, like he has like 44 passes to primary shots but the next 2 and 3 were Schmaltz and Keller, and then Keller to Schmaltz. Like that Arizona team has skill. They're a plus team. They're 4-3-0 this year at home, so they haven't played as well, but they're 4-5-2 on the road in Arizona. But also, like, the Blues haven't been as bad as everybody thinks too. They've been winning the games. I mean, they're 9-7. So yeah, I mean, Minnesota's bad. I just don't know where Edmonton finds the points. Calgary, maybe, but Calgary's played better. So, yeah, Vancouver looks great. Andrew, thanks for joining us. So I shot him a text. I don't know what's going on, man. Like, he's in here. Let's try him one more time, but it's not his screen. Perlo, can you hear us? Perlo.
Yeah, there's something going on because he messaged me at 9:45. Actually,
I'm gonna kick him and he'll figure it out. So yeah, I mean, he was in here when I got in, and I was like, "Hey, man, are you there? Are you there? Are you there?" I don't know. Well,
it might be in the bathroom. It is Taco Tuesday.
Isaac's Justin Bourne does not like the Blues. He thinks they're not a good team. And you know, they're not a great team, but you know, they got better goaltending than Edmonton does. So no, I mean, he said he'd be here. So anyway, he said he'd be on. He messaged at 4:08 he'd be on, and then I let him know at 5:58 I was here, and then I texted him, whatever, I don't know. He's not paying attention. So yeah, I mean, to me, there's one team worse than the Edmonton Oilers this year, and that's the San Jose Sharks. And then, you know, I guess you could throw in the Columbus Blue Jackets, huh? Did you want to talk a little bit about them? That's been kind of a big story.
Yeah, I mean, Laine's making a shit ton of money, and he just came off a concussion. So there's the argument that you know, maybe the guy needs to get back his legs back under him and stuff for him to get benched right after coming back from a concussion. But you know, he should have just maybe kept quiet about it a little bit. But he went out in the media and said it was embarrassing and all this stuff. But you got a lot of young players there in Columbus. You got Fantilli. You're trying to rebuild. You know, you brought in Mike Babcock. That didn't work, but your leader's got to just lead whether you're getting benched or not. And if you're in a rut, you're not scoring goals and you're a goal scorer, just show some effort out there. I know Biz was talking about that today on the Spit and Chicklets podcast. If I see a guy busting his ass out there and he's not scoring goals, but he's doing something, you know, you're not gonna turn your head at that guy. So I mean, yeah, it's a tough spot there, man. In Columbus, they're having a rough time. I mean, I don't know if bringing in that coach was the right idea, if they should have just brought in another veteran coach like they were going to, not, but it'd be interesting to see moving forward what happens with Laine and how he takes it.
I do think the coach might be fumbling the bag there a little bit, huh? It just feels like that Pascal Vincent guy's over his skis. Like, first of all, you're not a good team. You got to play your good players. If you're not getting out of what you need from your good players, you need to figure that out as the coach. And I just think benching them or scratching them or holding them out should be the last possible resort. To me, it's a failure of leadership in the coaching and the front office, to be quite frank. So I saw Severson's out for 6 weeks for them. They paid him a ton of money, $60 million over whatever. I just also saw Rust, Raquel, and Ruedel are sidelined for the Penguins. That's going to be really interesting to see what's going on there. They've played pretty well, actually, as bad as they started. Pittsburgh's look really good. I feel like they're easily a playoff team. I think there's a lot of surprise in the West.
Washington's in the playoffs right now. The Capitals,
they've looked good, though, man. They shut out. They've had some good wins, man. They beat the Devils. Of course, Jack Hughes wasn't there, and they shut out the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 at home. I mean, it was a 1-0 game, but they got a couple empty netters, and I mean, dude, they've been playing good. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, it's going to be real interesting. Super interesting, man. I guess Harvey Pinard and Harris out for the Canadians too, and I guess Höglander did get fined a maximum for that slew foot
on the bank.
Dude, wildly irresponsible from the Canucks broadcast yesterday to call it unintentional. No, they reviewed it, and the crowd killing the refs. You're out of your depths on that one, folks. That was a bad play for him. He just didn't need to do it at all. And they weren't going to lose that game. I really actually liked the effort I saw from the Sharks. They're just completely outclassed with. I am interested, though, to see if the Sharks get back Logan Couture. Having him in that lineup, I was like, that kind of makes him formidable. I wonder if they're holding him out to make sure he's 110%. So, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, let me know if you hear back from Perlo, man. I
haven't, man. So something must be up with him, especially if he left his webcam on like that.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't want to. I could hear somebody in the background, but hope he's okay. So, yeah, I agree, Salty. It was a very bad look for Höglander. All right, so tomorrow we're going to be on. This will be kind of a short show. We'll talk a little bit about our trip for all you guys that are in here after the fact. Rico and Hot Take Hockey and I went to the game against Canucks and Leafs. I thought definitely the Leafs looked the best. Well, let's go ahead and preview the games for tomorrow. Odd that we had no games tonight, but no games for Friday either. So tomorrow will be the last show of the week, guys. I'm still really under the weather. I actually sound way better than I feel. And then, my wife had surgery, so I'm really trying to take care of her, and I'm hoping to feel good. So tomorrow, Wednesday, 14 games, and Friday, which we will not have a show, 15 games. So we'll talk about those games too. And then everybody in the States, happy Thanksgiving. I know Canada, you had yours a couple weeks ago. It's going to be interesting because this is usually the cutoff, barring the example of the St. Louis Blues who were in last place. Again, I would like to see how far in points-wise they were back, though, because traditionally this American Thanksgiving is it. So Edmonton, Carolina, that is a big game. Carolina's looking good again. What are you thinking there?
Carolina is one of the top teams in the league in shots on goal. Edmonton doesn't have the best goalie in the league, and they're so structured. They're a lot deeper than Edmonton. That's going to be tough on the Oilers tomorrow night. I can't pick for the Oilers, and I can't pick against the Canes. So it's Hurricanes or nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet some money on shot props for the Canes. That's a win for Carolina if there ever was one. I just don't see how Edmonton pops out of this funk. I mean, and the more they lose, the more and regulation lose. They don't, they're not picking up points, and the Canes are back from what I've seen. How about Chicago and Columbus? I'll just go real quick. I like Chicago. I like how Chicago's been playing. Bedard leads the NHL in 5v5 goals. Whoever said that kid wasn't gonna break out right away. Real quick, Isaac says Rico draw if it's Skinner versus Ronta. Yeah, so he was saying maybe your thought process who was playing Skinner versus Ronta, and
oh geez, yeah, the Chicago Columbus game. I mean, most of the rookies in the league are getting a little bit of load management, but like the Blackhawks are playing like Bedard, like first PP units. They're playing him every game, and he's come out of that gauntlet pretty good at the beginning of the year. You know, they started against the on the ESPN game to start the year, and they ran Bedard through the whole NHL media freaking road trip and everything there. So now you're starting to settle in against teams that are beatable, I guess, for Chicago. And so I like Chicago in Columbus too.
Isaac says I need Mrazek versus Merzlikins versus Mrazek for Columbus -1.5. I like Chicago. Columbus is playing great, but you know the sad thing is Columbus is not terrible. Oh man, Andrew, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're okay, man. Be safe, man. New Jersey at Detroit. What do you think of that one?
I like the Devils.
Yeah.
Like the Devils. Detroit's coming back from Sweden, I think, too.
Yeah.
Devils got to get it going.
Yeah, I think it is Detroit at home. Devils got Hughes back. Hey, Darkness, how's it going? Boston at Florida. What are you thinking? That's a TNT game.
Is that a revenge game for Boston going in there on TNT? Florida beat them last year in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, Boston just lost a heartbreaker to Tampa, and I liked how Florida looked against Edmonton without Barkov. Now, they said Barkov's day to day. He could play in this Boston game. I don't know. Man, I don't know, man. Florida's way better than expected, and
that'd be a good game.
Yeah, I like Florida in that one. In Florida,
I kind of do too.
Yeah, Salty says, by the way, OEL is playing like he did in Arizona. Yeah, early in his career, he's playing better than he did in Arizona because he's got 5 goals, 6 assists, and is like a +7 or something. Yeah, he looks really good. He had 2 goals all of last year. He already has 5. He's
a good point by Isaacs too that the Bruins beat the Cats in OT at TD Garden. So that revenge has been done if there is a game to win. So.
The revenge. There is no such thing as a revenge game, right? You had the best record in NHL history, and you got bounced in the first round. You should have been a Stanley Cup final team, really. In the Boston Bruins. You know what I'm saying?
But you do mark it on your calendar the next time you play that team that fucking beat you, because there could have been a little chirps here and there during that game, fuck you, go home type shit, and maybe a little worse chirping than that on the ice as the series goes on. They played a tough series, man. That was a hard series against Florida.
Yeah, no, I mean, and then, yeah, I just think Florida was a team of destiny, and I think this year they're out to prove it's not a fluke.
I love them.
And they're healthy, and they look good, and the fact that they didn't have Montour and Ekblad for almost the first 2 months, I feel like it's only going to benefit those guys because they needed the less ice time. So I'm super. Hey, Sobalski, thanks for retweeting out the thing. I don't know if you're in the broadcast. Also, Darkness, good to see you. No games Thursday because it's
American Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dude, we're not going to have any. They never traditionally had games on Thanksgiving, and why would you? Because the NFL's on Thanksgiving, and there's 3 games, and it's just, if I'm the NHL, I'm avoiding the and you know what? It's working, dude. The NHL is up 22% on ESPN ratings wise this year. Yeah, real good news, man. Really good news. Everything's, and then it's up 44% between 18 and 36. I heard that today. It's really, really good news. How about New York Rangers at Pittsburgh Penguins? I like New York in this one, but that's a great game too.
Yeah, Rangers are coming off a loss in Dallas. I think it was like 6-3 Dallas or something. And the Rangers have been hot. And
So
I
it
had
was
Dallas to win that game.
it was the Rangers were up 2-0 and lost the game. I think there was a couple empty netters at the end there, but essentially lost the game 4-3. But yeah, no, I got you. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I like the Rangers in that game too. Just deeper, better goaltending. Just they're going to go into Pittsburgh and show them who's boss. I think they're not fucking around. Coming off a loss, they got such a good record. They played so well defensively. Like the Rangers win that game.
Yeah, and they've been road warriors this year. They've been really, really good at home on the road. So yeah, I like New York there. I think that's a tough one, but. Another great game, Winnipeg at Tampa. Boy, Winnipeg has actually played really, really well this year too. Isaac says it's a tight game and Fade. He's going to take the Pens, but it'll be a tough one. It'll be Jonathan Quick. Darkness it probably will be Jonathan Quick because Shesterkin played against. That's the thing. If you're Dallas, you like that win because you had Wedgwood in net and not your boy Ottinger. So pretty good game there. Dallas also plays tomorrow. We got. Okay, so what do you think of the Winnipeg Tampa? What do you got there?
That's a tough one because if you just go by the goaltending matchup, you can go Winnipeg. But is it going to be a high scoring game or a low scoring game? Like that, it seems like there might be some goals on the board. So that's a tough pick, man. I'm thinking Winnipeg maybe because Tampa's coming off maybe a bit of a tough one against Boston. Maybe players are a little banged up. Played a hard game against them. They got a lot of shots against Boston and Tampa. I think Swayman made like 41 saves or something, even after the goals he let in. Like, Tampa peppered them pretty good. So yeah, I like Winnipeg. I think on the road, just a tough road win. Hellebuck stands on his head a little bit.
Yeah, I was really down with how they've started off. I think that I thought maybe it was a bridge too far for Cheveldayoff. But they've by re-signing those guys, I thought maybe he was going to be able to get value in trading them. So I thought it was. I mean, basically, I think too for them, where were they going to go? I mean, just about everybody's up against the cap and stuff. So, it was a good time, man. Yeah, really good time. Okay, so we left off on Winnipeg, Tampa. You said Jets?
I could go either way, but if I'd have to pick, I'll bet on a better goaltender. Just a gritty road win by Winnipeg. I think they just go in there, just a business win.
Yeah, I'll just say this, man. I tweeted this out the other day. Like, if I was a goalie and it was like Kucherov and Point coming down the line, I think I would just crap my pants because, like, they're so ridiculous. It's so, like, how good those two guys are. And then, oh, by the way, they got one of the best one-time guys in Stamkos on that team as well. And then maybe one of the better shooting defensemen and Hedman. So Isaac says, I can see the Jets going for plus money to minus money tomorrow. Okay, yep. I don't have the odds up. So, yeah, I think I like Tampa in that one. Okay, the Sabres at Caps. I got to stick with my Caps. They've just been playing so well defensively, and they're getting healthy again. And you called it. I mean, since Nick Backstrom's been out of the lineup, Malenstein, then they got Nick Dowd back, and it's just been like, these guys have stepped up and are really making a difference for them. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm not betting against Washington at home there. The Tage Thompson injury is just going to cripple Buffalo so much. They move Dylan Cousins over to center. The depth's going to show. The goaltending has been the best. Washington's been playing so good. If it was in Buffalo, it might be a tighter spot, but it's in Washington. Washington's got out to such a good lead. It seems like they're playing well as a team, buying in. Strome's playing awesome too, just down the middle. I think Washington wins that one.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I just feel like it's as much as but the Sabres have a lot of firepower and, you know, they got some young D, so we'll see. But I think people are sleeping on the Caps, man. They played really well, really well. And another team people are sleeping on are the Philadelphia Flyers, and they're in on the New York Islanders. What are your thoughts about that game?
Then they're in Long Island. Is that the Islanders' first game back home after that long road trip?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah, I like Philly, man. They're just playing really good hockey right now.
Yeah, and the Islanders went to Edmonton, they went to Vancouver, they went to Seattle, they went to Calgary, and now they're finally back home against the Flyers. That's a tough spot for the Islanders, and feels like Philly's got a little bit more scoring. I mean, they're getting good goaltending by Carter Hart as well, too. Overall, they're playing way better than the Islanders are, so I take the Philadelphia Flyers, and they might even be at plus money. It's hard to say.
So ultra pass on Flyers. Isex doesn't want to. I just like Philly. I wouldn't bet the game. Sorokin's in net. You know, he could really steal games, but I really like what I'm seeing from the Flyers. I mean, the fact that Couturier is back, he looks like he hasn't lost a beat. Konechny's been really, really good. Looks like they're probably going to trade Morgan Frost. I know he was a healthy scratch, so some stuff there. I mean, the thing with Torts is if he doesn't like you, you're probably not going to play. So my buddy Darkness agrees. What do you think about?
I know Philly. Sorry, buddy. I know Philly lost the weekend series in Vegas lost the weekend series in Pennsylvania. They lost to Philly and to Penn. So I mean, you think Philly's coming off a win against Vegas, man? So they got a little bit of bump in their step there.
They're playing good, and the Islanders have not looked good, and they ended their 7-game losing streak with a shootout win. But yeah, I just even though they're home, I like Philly the way that Philly's playing. And I'll tell you what, if you're not ready to play and you play Philly, you're gonna lose. They're too good. Like I want to see. Like this is a good measuring stick for a team like Edmonton. They go in and they play Philly. You watch Philly beats them both times this year. They play them just because that team will play the right kind of hockey to win the game. And Edmonton's not. And that's just how they're playing this year. So St. Louis at Arizona. I like Arizona to bounce back from their loss the other day. Isaac says 15 games means I stay away from Flyers Isles. Yeah, I mean, there's certain games where you feel like, oh, the teams are pretty evenly matched. But, I don't bullshit you guys. I try to watch every game I possibly can, and I've watched a lot of Philly. I think the NHL is better with Philly. And as you'll see from my trip in Toronto, I've now got some connections in Philly. So you guys will see. You will see. It's going to be exciting. Maybe someday we have said individual from Philly on the show. What do you think about St. Louis, Arizona?
I like Arizona as well, too.
Okay, we're on the same on that one. Yeah. How about Calgary, Nashville? We got a ways to go, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about Toronto.
Calgary and Nashville.
Nashville coming back and beating Colorado, and then I just don't think Nashville's as bad as, and McDonough's out for them, and they won that game against Colorado. Calgary's coming off a win, though. They came back and beat Seattle. I think it'll be a good game. Probably take the tie there, huh?
That's probably not a bad play with Markstrom and Saros. Both teams having a little trouble pucking in the net. I mean, Calgary's right in the middle of a road trip, too, coming off an OT win at Seattle. Then they go to Dallas and Colorado after this. So I think Calgary's going to put it to the floor in this game because they know they got Dallas and the Avalanche left. They're going to want to make sure they take care of business in Nashville. So I think Calgary goes in there and wins that game.
Okay.
Huberdeau's been coming on a little bit, too. It seems like the team's just trying to string a couple wins together. I mean, shootout lost to
against Seattle the other day. I was impressed. I mean, they just kept bouncing back, and they came back and won that game. So our friend Rick Smith says Calgary. Big 3 games for the Flames, KQ says. Thanks for being with us, KQ. Vegas at Dallas, boy, that's going to be a good one. That's another TNT game. I am excited. Vegas at Dallas.
Dallas coming off a win. Vegas playing like crap, and people asking what the hell is going on with Vegas right now.
Yeah, Jay at the beginning of the show.
Barely beating Montreal, losing to Philly, losing to the Penguins. It's like
not Montreal. Like Montreal when they played Montreal at home and they won the game, I thought they got thoroughly outplayed by Montreal. I don't know if they're just a little banged up or what's happening there, but I don't know. I like Dallas in this one too, unfortunately. But I don't think Vegas is in any kind of real trouble. They're going to lose some games. I mean, you're going to lose 20, 25 games a year. I mean, it's just that you play 82, you're going to lose some games. I just, I like how Dallas is playing right now. And I think Vegas is missing a little bit of secondary scoring. They're just not clicking, and their top guys are. I think they hit some. They're just not getting some puck. We'll see what happens. I feel like they got some posts, and they could have easily won against Philly, but it was, I didn't hate their game.
And I think Nick Hague's hurt for him. I mean, now you insert Ben Hutton. I think Chandler Stevenson was banged up for a while too. I think that affected them a little bit because he's a force on that team as well too. So Vegas going a little bit of a rut. I think I would take Dallas in that game. If it was in Vegas, I'd probably take Vegas if the spot was right. But being in Dallas, I think.
Yeah, I think Vegas needs to get home. This road trip's been a little long for them, and I think they're being an older team. I think it's wearing on them a little bit. So,
well, that and a Stanley Cup hangover, you could still have a bit of piss and vinegar at the beginning of the year, but as the year wears on a little bit, maybe some of those guys are feeling it because they've been healthy for the most part.
I think they know they got another year or two of a window, and then that this is kind of the way the league goes. So. I think Stone and Petro, being a guy that was on that St. Louis Blues team and stuff, just knows like, hey, our chance to win these aren't going to be very often. So I expect Vegas to be in the mix the whole year. I mean, I mean, Dallas is a great team. A lot of people picked them to be their Stanley Cup finals. So Montreal and Anaheim, I'm just going to go. I like Anaheim. I love how they're playing. I know they've lost a couple in a row, but Montreal is not good. So that's just the way it is. They don't have any real depth, and what are your thoughts?
I like Anaheim too. They're playing a better defensive structure right now against a team like Montreal. Gibson's been playing well because the team's been playing well defensively in front of them. So yeah, I like Anaheim in that spot too.
Yeah. How about Vancouver at Colorado?
Holy. Colorado.
I think this is an easy one for me. I think it's Vancouver all day.
Better depth, that's for sure. That's something that Colorado is lacking, a little bit of scoring depth. That's one guy that can go there is like Patrick Kane. Like Colorado, it drops off a little bit, and it's concerning if their top guys aren't doing it there. Man, Colorado is losing to some games that they shouldn't be.
Well, and then who's in net for Vancouver? Do they run Demko back out? Like, I don't know. Like, I just like everything about how Vancouver's playing, even though they lost a couple here in the last few weeks. Salty says our bottom six needs to wake up. Yeah, I mean, Salty, that was kind of your problem last year too. I mean, I think sometimes these organizations get a little like arrogant after they win. Like, we can do whatever, we can plug anybody in there. And no, you can't. Sometimes you got to keep what works. And Lehtinen out for them. He's a really important part of that team. And I just like Vancouver. And then the final of the game is Seattle at San Jose, or San Jose at Seattle. I like Seattle to bounce back. So, I lost Rico. We'll get Rico back here. While we're here we go. He's back.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, you're all right. You weren't gone. I was gonna say, while we got Rico back, before we jump into the Friday games, let's give you a little bit of let's just share a little bit of the the trip here. So this is Friday. Yeah. It's Friday night's game with me and Kipper. So I got a few shots there.
Kipper looks like he was having a good time.
This is the snow that happened while I was gone. I was sitting. I was like, oh hey, Henrik Lundqvist. This is my shower. Here's me with the Hot Take Hockey hoodie on. This is some crazy dudes I met from Moncton. And we went to the game the next night. I was waiting for Rico, and there he is. There's Rico. We met up. There's the beautiful ice. Rico, oh, and look who joined us. Oh, Hot Take Hockey finally made it. He was a little bit late. Here's a little video. We'll go a little video. I don't know if this is gonna play for you guys. There we go. This was a great game, by the way. Okay. And then I went to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Got in front of the Doug Gilmour. I don't know why it's taking so long there. Just some little pictures for the Hockey Hall of Fame. The Alaska Aces, baby. They used to be part of the ECHL. That was so cool to see that there. Bring back some old memories. Took some pictures for my wife, the Mark Messier, the Lundqvist. Then these are some shots of the weather. Then this is the Legends game that Hot Take and I went to. And then you get some dogs. My wifey was sending me some dogs. So I'll spare the videos. That's Lundqvist and net. You can't see, it's really far away. And then I don't know why I've got dogs mixed in here, but you're just going to have to see some Alaska stuff. There's the Hockey Hall of Fame ticket. Oh, look at this handsome son of a bitch. Yes, I happen to meet Frank Saravelli. Pretty cool. Got his number. We're going to try to have Frank on at some point. But in the meantime, guys, please give as much shout outs to Daily Faceoff and go check out Daily Faceoff. Really good. Here's a Leafs legend with Mr. John Viveros, Hot Take Hockey. I don't know if you guys know who this is. Rico, do you know who it is?
That's Dave Keon.
That is Hockey Hall of Famer Dave Keon.
I had no idea who that was. I took a wild guess. I know he's aging a bit, but that was my dad's favorite player growing up. So I'm guessing Dave Keon.
Yeah. And then here's me and Hot Take at the thing. We got a picture with the cup. This is a lawyer that works for the New York Rangers. He's a retired sergeant major. Here's Lundqvist at his speech. I ran into Kipper again. Oh, yeah, look at this. I get to shake Henrik Lundqvist's hand. How about that? Well, we'll show you this. See if this goes. I don't know. Bear with the music, guys. So this is the procession of the Hall of Famers coming in. And we missed Rick Smith, man. We were looking for him. This was such a great trip, guys. So the RCMP comes in right after the thing. That's the book they signed. There's Catherine Ouellette, Hockey Hall of Famer. That's Tom Barrasso. My wife's a huge fan. Congratulations. I shook his hand. Ken Hitchcock, Hall of Famer. All right, whatever. Good stuff. Good stuff. And then this is Lundqvist, Duthie. I'll show you a few more. This is a great trip, man. Yeah, Rick, I wish we would have got to see you there, buddy. It would have been a really good time. This was a painting that this guy painted for Lundqvist. Oh, look at this guy.
Ah,
yeah.
James Duthie.
Simmer, and then we're done. That's it. So I think it's all back to, there's that. That's the hotel room from the hotel room. I had to take one more from the hotel room. But what a great time. Such a badass trip. I don't think there was any more. Oh, I did meet this girl in the Chicago airport that had a pretty cool tattoo of Christmas Vacation and had an interesting story. But then I was back home watching hockey, even though I was sick out of my gourd. So, yeah. Hey, how about the Caps? 9. Now I think it's up to 10 straight games without allowing a power play goal. So that's exciting. We'll see how they do. All right. So Friday, Black Friday, which we'll not have a show Friday, guys. Just tomorrow is our last show of the week. Too bad we missed Perlo tonight. Friday we have. Let's hope that Cap streak carries on for me.
Give me one sec, brother.
Yeah, go ahead. Because Washington plays Edmonton, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Here, I'll give you while we're waiting on Rico. Here's one I took the other day of what everything looks like after all the snow. She's doing okay, Rick. I appreciate it, man. She's yeah, darkness. We have not allowed one. It's not that we haven't scored. I think we've actually gotten one, but it's here. Let me share this. Let's see if I can do this full screen. Just let me go full. No. Okay. There we go. There you go. There's little mountains. Little snow-capped mountains. Anyway, all right. We're just waiting for Rico to come back, and he's back. So Friday's games, last of the week for us. There will be 8 games on Saturday, 5 games on Sunday, 6 games on Monday. We'll be back next Tuesday, the 28th of November. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's go ahead and talk about Friday's games. Black Friday. 15 games on. Guess I know what I'll be doing. Detroit at Boston. What do you think?
I think they played each other pretty tight earlier in the year.
Yeah, I gotta go with Boston at home. I just feel like they're just not gonna lose very many games this year to teams that are lesser quality.
No, Boston's gonna lose at Florida, and then they're gonna come home and beat Detroit.
I like that. I think that's yeah, Rick's with you on that one. New York at Philly. I just like the Rangers game so much on the road. That's an NHL Network game for those of you in the States. Unless you're in the Philadelphia, New York area, then it'll be on MSG and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Toronto at Chicago. What about the Leafs back from the successful trip? Willie Nylander is a superstar. By the way, hot take, I believe, and I've said this already a couple of times, I think he gets $13 million a year. And I don't know if that's with Edmonton. Sorry, not Edmonton. Edmonton's not giving him anything. He wouldn't go there, I don't think. I think he stays in Toronto, but I think he gets $13 million.
I think he does too, but you know what other team was kind of scaring me as to having a little bit of cap space? Isn't it the Minnesota Wild with Parise and Suitors? $14 million?
Yeah, that'd be nice, but they have one more season of that.
Oh,
they have this year and next year, and then it goes down to like 800,000. So yeah, I mean, if the Leafs sign him to like a 1-year deal or something, Logan thinks only 10.5. I disagree, Logan. Right now, he's easily the best player on the Leafs. He looks like the best guy on the Leafs. Yes, he is eating up second line guys, but that's what he needs to do. So he's kind of had that. So I just think he's in his groove and he's super confident. And
you know what? And you know what? He's playing in a contract year in probably one of the toughest, most pressure-packed environments to perform in Toronto as well, too, in that media circus there. And this guy's just kept his mouth shut. He's played, and look at the level he's playing at in a contract year, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Rick, I see what you say. 11, and you see him in LA at 11.5. I don't know where LA is getting the cap space, brother. You're forgetting they're up to the gills now too, because they signed Dubois, and then they got to take care of some of their young guys too. So I mean, not all those guys are going to hit. So I get it, but I don't know. I mean, they could use them, I guess, but I don't think they don't have them. So KQ, we'll see. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. We'll talk a little bit about where we think some guys are get traded here real quick. I definitely think we're going to see Zadorov get moved quick. But I doubt they trade Tanev and Hannafin and those guys right away. So so Toronto at Chicago. I'm going with the Leafs here. I can't see why you wouldn't. What are your thoughts?
I like the Leafs too. Just that Sweden layoff scares me. They've only played a couple games in like a couple weeks type thing. They might not get their legs till the second or third, but I like the Leafs winning that. You can't bet against them right now, especially in Chicago.
Yeah, the Leafs have already lost to Chicago. I think they probably owe them one. I think they know this. I think it'll be a good game. I hope it's a great game. And the great thing about these games are on Friday, they got a 1 o'clock. These are all Eastern times, by the way, guys. Then the Leafs come on at 2. 3 o'clock, we got Columbus at New Jersey. New Jersey all day. You want to spend any time breaking that game down?
No.
Also 3 o'clock, Nashville at St. Louis again. A couple of teams that are middling, but I could see either of those teams. Edmonton at the Capitals. I want to see how Edmonton looks against Carolina. And if they look even worse or more doggy-doo, I like the Caps, but I just want to see how they – yes, I got you, Darkness. Middling. No, middling, but look, Darkness, no offense. I like what I've seen from the Blues this year. I thought they would have a tough time. Yeah, we couldn't get Perlo. I don't know what's going on. We shot him a text, and he's not answering, so hope he's okay. Hope he's good. Maybe he got the times mixed up. I don't know. So,
no, because he messaged me at 27 minutes before the show. He must have had to go empty a truck or something. Maybe he forgot we were on. I don't know, or there's something more to it.
Yeah, he's okay, man. He can't make it. He just said he would be on. So, and then he was on, and he was there. I never saw him. He just wasn't there. Okay, so what do you think, Edmonton and Washington? What are you thinking there?
I'm the same way with you. See how they play against Carolina. If they beat Carolina, I like them in Washington. If they lose to Carolina, they're in big trouble.
Yeah. I'll say this. Here's why I like the Caps.
They match up well.
The Caps beat Edmonton last year in Edmonton and really, really outplayed them and out-physicaled them. And that was last year when Edmonton was a really good team and Washington was meh. But, it just was kind of frustrating because Washington had the potential to be good. So I just feel like if Washington can play their game and plays their defensive game, it really works against Edmonton. So I'm going to stick with the Caps regardless. But
if I were to bet it now, if I were to bet it right now, I'd take Edmonton to win that game.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I mean, why wouldn't you? But it is what it is. LA at Anaheim. I like the Kings. Where are you thinking there?
I like the Kings too. Until their goaltending comes back to earth, if Talbot is really this guy right now, playing at 9-3-1 on the year, and man, if LA keeps playing like they're doing, man, they're one of the top seeds.
If you told me they're in the Cup Finals for the West, I wouldn't be shocked. The way they're playing, they looked so dominant against a really good Arizona team yesterday. And I know people are dogging Arizona. Arizona's a playoff team this year, guys. They're a playoff team. Cooley looks good. They added Cooley in last year. I thought they were 1 or 2 players away. Their defensive depth is a little bit lacking. If they're able to add, what if they add a Hannafin? Or I think they have so many picks. They could just trade picks. What if they add a Tanev? Nobody's counting this team to be an adder, and they have the cap space. They're one of the few teams that have the assets and the cap space to add good players. Hannafin's a young enough guy that could add him and throw him in there. And he's, so I like Arizona a lot this year. And the Kings made him look mediocre. And I love Anaheim, but and they're right now they look really, really good too. And I talked to Pat Verbeek a little bit at the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I told him, man, your team's fun. Also talked to Armstrong for the Arizona, and told him about his Bill Armstrong burner account on Twitter. If you hadn't heard about it, it's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
He knew about it. It was great. He knew about it. It was really good. I didn't get pictures with those guys though because I didn't feel right about it. And by the way, Pat Verbeek, really cool and nice, but maybe not the type of guy I would ask to get a picture with anyway. So, okay, so Montreal at San Jose. I don't care about that game. I think Montreal probably could win that game, but I could see it going either way. I don't know where you're thinking. This is Friday. We're talking.
Yeah, Montreal and Anaheim. Anaheim beats Montreal, but then Montreal goes into San Jose and wins the next one.
Yeah. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. The Sabres usually play the Penguins pretty tough, actually. But this is a TNT game. I like Pittsburgh. They're just playing really well, even with Rust and those guys out. But that's probably a Buffalo win, right? That's how it goes.
I think Buffalo at home there comes out strong, outplays just at home. If it was in Pittsburgh, I'd probably take the Pens, but Buffalo with the line matchups and Pittsburgh's top end guys will just try and match them up, I think. And as long as Buffalo gets a few saves, I think I'd take Buffalo in that game.
You like Buffalo in that one? Okay. What about New York at Ottawa? Ottawa looked good in Sweden too. They came away with 4 points, didn't they?
I'll take the Sens there. I'm fading the Islanders until they come out of it.
Yeah, I like the Sens big time. How about this is a great game, man. Man, there's so many good games the next couple of days here. We'll get a chance to talk about them a little bit tomorrow, but Tampa at Carolina.
I'd just take Carolina at home. I'd take the home team in that game. If it was in Tampa, I'd probably take Tampa, but in Carolina, I think with their defensive depth, they'll stick on the top guys for Tampa, and the line matchups Brind'Amour will have going. I think Carolina wins that game.
Yeah, Winnipeg at Florida.
Jeez, oh yeah. So you got Winnipeg at Tampa doing the Florida trip, and then the Florida right after.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I was thinking Winnipeg might go and sneak one out of Florida, but I think I like Florida in that spot. Panthers are playing good until they're not. They're like the LA of the East right now, man. They're like the team people weren't talking about much because of the Montour neckblad injuries. You know, when you had Bennett out at the beginning of the year in Florida too. Like they're like the LA of the East, man. The teams, like everybody was talking about Vegas, Dallas, Colorado in the West, and you know everybody's talking about Carolina, New Jersey, and Toronto, maybe Boston, Tampa in the East. But I like Florida in that spot,
dude. I could see Florida back in the final. I mean, they look great. Mm-hmm. Reinhardt's in a contract here. He's playing like it. They got this. They got the secondary scoring guys like Verhaeghe, guys. Barkov's one of the best defensive centers in the league. He's a little banged up now, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm going to go with Winnipeg in this one just because of the health of Barkov, and then look at too. They got depth at goalie too. Like Spencer Knight hasn't played a minute this year. They've got him playing in the A. So if they lose a goalie. Bobrovsky's looked pretty good this year, honestly.
Yeah, and didn't Devin Levi get drafted by Florida and went to the Reinhardt?
He did. You heard that on the Spit and Chicklets interview with him. Yeah, Roberto Luongo picked him in this. Yeah, now he's he's probably Buffalo's starter for the next 10 years. So it sounded like Luongo wasn't real happy with it either. He was pretty sad.
No, he called Levi, and Levi said Luongo was sort of crying on the phone a bit for him, eh?
Yeah, that was interesting to hear.
Awful.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what do you do? It's just how it goes. They had so much depth, and they get Sam Reinhart in the trade. That kind of worked out for both teams, honestly. So. And really, Buffalo doesn't need a Sam Reinhart in that lineup. I mean, it sucks that they're missing Tage Thompson. I'll be honest with you, too, to back with the Tage Thompson thing, I thought that was a little bit of a dirty play. Like it sure felt like the player turned his skate up a little. I don't know. I just didn't. But just something about that injury, rubbed me the wrong way. So anyway, yeah. I mean, Winnipeg's playing great. Kyle Connor just killing it. Like continues to be the most underrated.
Isn't he another U.S. born player? Isn't Connor from the US?
Yeah, dude.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
They're talking about having that best on best between Sweden and Finland and Canada and the U.S. I came out today. It's like, man, start with the goaltending and go out from there, and you're in trouble as soon as you start talking about that.
Bring it, buddy. I'm ready for it. I've been wanting it since 2011. I still think the referee passed the puck to McGinley, who kicked it over to Crosby. It feels real suspect to me. They knew when Vancouver. They knew what happened in Vancouver when the teams that they're rooting for, they'll burn the damn city down. So they were really worried. So
these roots go deep with you, eh, Jeremiah?
Oh man, I thought we had that
conspiracy theory yet.
Once Parise tied that game, I thought, oh, here we go, baby. We're going to win this. And then go back and watch that, dude. Like, that ref gets in the way and kind of kicks the puck up to Iginla, who throws it over to Crosby. No one's there.
Oh, my God.
And that was the only goal that Crosby scored the whole Olympics. He did jack shit the whole time. Anyway,
I got to rewatch this now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, sure felt like it to me. But, then of course the NHL bails out of the Olympics. So I mean, you guys won in 2014 too in Sochi, so it's not really fair to say, but that one I was expecting the U.S. to do, and we beat Russia in that one, which is kind of odd on their own ice. But it was in a shootout too, which to me is like, I don't know, I don't feel that great about that win anyway. So New York at Ottawa, we already talked about that one. We both like Ottawa. Carolina and Tampa, we both like Carolina. I'll go with Florida against Winnipeg, but that's a toss. That might be a tie. I kind of like that one as a tie. Where were you on that? You said Florida again?
Yeah, I like Florida in that spot. I think Winnipeg goes into Tampa and wins, and then Florida beats Winnipeg at home.
Okay. Yeah. Calgary at Dallas. I'm going to go with Dallas at home. I don't know where you are on that one.
I like Dallas too.
Okay. Colorado at Minnesota. This is another TNT game, the late night one. I got to go with Colorado, but boy, I don't feel great about it. Minnesota didn't have a great Swedish trip. Somebody had to lose in Sweden, right? So
yeah,
Minnesota lost.
No, I like Colorado in that spot. They're going to know it's a nationally televised game. They'll be talked about if they don't go into Minnesota and get a win there. I like the Avalanche.
Bacon says Zary and Possumcell going to pop off against Dallas. I've liked Zary. He looked good. So I was at the Calgary Leaf game that the Leafs won 5-4 or whatever. I think it was at a shootout or an overtime or whatever. But I like Zary looks good, man. Bacon, seeing him in person, I was like, ah. And Ruzicka looked pretty good. And boy, Zadorov is a big boy. He had a goal and assist and smashed Bertuzzi in that game. So Bacon says they own Dallas. So yeah, you guys could win that game.
And since Calgary benched Huberdeau in that third period, they've been playing a lot better.
And he's been playing
better. He's been playing a lot better.
I'm glad, man. Like, I'm glad. I don't want to see that guy crappy. It sucks that he hasn't been playing like the way he...
Zadorov called the team out. Huberdeau got benched. Fucking men to be men. Like, on paper, that team is good, man.
Yeah.
Calgary's not a bad team.
Okay, and the final of the game is Vancouver at Seattle, but Seattle beat Vancouver the last time they played them. Actually, I'm going to go with Seattle at home. I like Seattle to win this game. I think Seattle's going to stay in the fight. I just think they're going to be a 500 team all year, and it's going to be tough. Oh, but they got Eberle back, by the way. Eberle's back, and he looked good. I think he had a goal in the last game. So, you come up, Bone?
The thing is, Vancouver goes to Edmonton Vancouver goes to Colorado on Wednesday. That'll be a hard-fought game, and if Vancouver wins that game at Colorado, though, they may not have nothing left for Seattle because then they go to the Sharks after that. So it might be a letdown spot for Vancouver on Friday night in Seattle. I could see the Seattle Kraken beating them.
Bacon thinks that Seattle feels for. Yeah, this is a couple days later though, Bacon. I just don't feel like and Seattle's been playing Vancouver pretty tough now. I know Vancouver won the first 6. Bone Dad thinks Kraken going through him.
Your dogs probably missed you while you were gone.
Yeah,
were they all at the door when you came in the house, all wagging their tails and stuff?
No, so here's what happened. I got in so late, and I knew my wife was awake because she was texting me. So I said, "Hey, do you want to just come get me? Because it's like $67 Uber ride, like, and we live like very close to the airport." So she was like, "Yeah, I'll just come get you." Well, she brought the dogs with her, and it was like they're just like, "What?" They were like, "What the heck?" My dog KP was really excited to see me, and normally he lets me have it for being gone. But I think he was like, "Yeah, it's 2:00 in the morning, so I'm just gonna be quiet, but I'll give you kisses." What do you think, Bone? Bone, he used to be my guy right here, the Bone, but he's. Oh yeah, you ready for me to be done with the show? I did say we'd talk a little bit about trades at the end. A couple people had some hot takes in the thing.
Where do you think Patrick Kane goes? Where do you think Kane ends up?
So I think Florida sounds like a really likely scenario. Saravelli was talking about that. So he has the luxury of being 35, so he could sign kind of like the league minimum deal and then
with bonuses.
Yeah, so I just think like he can get a nice 1-year paycheck. I don't think anybody's going to give him a long-term deal just because, I mean, look, with Backstrom, the hip resurfacing, I think everybody thought, oh, let's see what he has with the whole offseason. Everything I've heard, he looks good. But again, like no one has come back from this surgery successfully. I see him only getting a league minimum deal with, and they'll load it with like super easy and like $3 million for 15 goals or something. Like, I mean, he's going to play probably 60 games or something. So Florida seems like a team. Buffalo could be a team. I think they have the space for him. He's from there. I think that would be the best story. Biz is all over the Leafs, right? He thinks the Leafs are going to get him.
Yeah, but he's going to play with the best American-born player, goal-scoring center that's out there right now, and he could play on his wing. And then I guess Witt was giving it to him, because Biz was like, he could just go to the net because you got perimeter guys like Marner and Matthews already, and Witt's like, what? Kane's going to go to the net? He's more of a perimeter guy as well, too. But you play with another American-born player like Matthew Tkachuk down in Florida, that would be pretty fucking wicked.
Yeah, I mean, I would not mind seeing him sign with the Leafs. I'd be all right with that. I just think they have some things to figure out with the cap and stuff. That first of all, like Klingberg's not going to come back. And to be quite frank, again, you know this and I know this. The fucking Leafs don't need scoring; they need D. Mm-hmm. I'd much rather see them get like a Tanev or a Zadorov or a Hanifin or one or two of those guys. I just don't feel like they have the assets to trade.
Yeah, but I think he stays in the East. He's
going to be an East guy.
Travel to the West and do that travel and time change and stuff. I think he stays in the East somewhere.
LA kind of makes sense. I guess I really want to look at like who's got like $980,000 in cap. So regardless, too. He's going to be a guy that if he gets the bonuses, that will count against the salary cap next year. So I still think any team that's really up against it's going to be kind of, they're going to be kind of apprehensive to give him a lot, I think. So Rick Smith keeps bringing up Evander Kane might be available after this weekend. Yeah, I think if Edmonton loses out through this road trip, they might want to start looking at moving some pieces and looking towards next year. I could see a guy like Holloway, Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, maybe even Zach Hyman. Like, I don't know, they could move. It's going to have to be somebody with a little bit more of affordable contracts. So I think they would hang on to like Ekholm. Nurse, I don't think they could give away. Honestly, I think they'd have to pay a team to take him. Not because he's terrible, but just because CC, I think they could trade Rick, but I just think they wouldn't get much back for him. But for a team that's like looking to bolster their bottom six, or their 4-5, their 5-6 defensive pair or something, CC's not terrible. Not a guy that you want to have playing top 4 minutes again.
Hot Take Hockey made a video today too about that the guys moving from Calgary and with the Leafs who bring in and stuff, and then you're right earlier, Beard, about Zadorov. He might be the first one to go because
they got to move him now. I mean,
and Hot Take was saying like he's not going to get a first round pick. Calgary's not going to get a first rounder for him, and you're lucky if you get a second. That'll be top case scenario.
Well, that rules the Leafs out because they don't have a second for the next 3 years.
And that's where Leafs come in at a third round pick, because that's where Luke Shen he fetched a third, and you mentioned somebody else too that fetched a third.
Arizona is another team that could. I think he would be a good fit. Zadorov. They need a little bit of defensive depth there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zadorov would fit in there, so they could maybe get a third party involved. Bacon goes, what does a Zadorov or Tanev trade look like? I think for both of those guys, Bacon, you're not getting a ton. The thing that would scare me about Tanev is he just can't stay healthy. I think if you get a third round for that guy, it'd be good. I just think the Calgary Flames are going to hang on to those guys probably through the new year. Zadorov is the only guy I could think of that they would move now. I think they should trade him now. He has to be traded. I think if you could bring back some real value to help your team now, I'd move him. Because, Hannafin was looking at re-signing $60 million, 5 years. So like a 5 at 6 or whatever. They could still keep him. Vancouver doesn't have any room, and they were trying to move Garland, and the Wild have zilcho space. The Wild are in trouble the next 2 years. They just need to get their players to play, and then they can add some depth. The unfortunate thing is all those guys will be 2 years. Zuccarello will be 2 years older, and so you probably have him gone. This sounds like this is the last year for Marc-Andre Fleury potentially. So Connor Timmins that's going to be a nice ad for the Leafs. And honestly, if I'm the Leafs, I don't know that I would trade him, but if you could get a Tanev back or something, maybe you do that. So yeah, Bacon, that could be something. If we just have to talk to. I did see Craig Conroy at the Hockey Hall of Fame too, but didn't get a chance to talk to him. I did not see Brad Treliving though, so I'm sure Hot Take would have wanted to go talk to him. All right, so tomorrow we have one more show this week. We'll preview the next 3 days games: Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We already we previewed tomorrow's games, which will be live at 6 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern. The games, there'll still be 3 games on: Montreal, Anaheim, Vancouver, Colorado, and San Jose, Seattle for tomorrow. And then Friday, we won't be live, but we preview those games. Really appreciate everybody being here. We'll figure out what happened with Perlo. I have no idea. I hope he's okay. And we'll see what's up. And you got any closing thoughts for the night, Rico?
No, man. I just don't know what to do myself without hockey on. So I think it was just a whole melange of why it didn't happen, like between the Sweden and between arenas not being available and between teams not playing back-to-back or 4 games in 5 nights. It wasn't no particular main reason.
Why didn't they have this yesterday when we had the rematch of the Super Bowl on Monday Night Football, and tonight we could add 9 days? I gotcha. It's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
You just want to ask the people in charge, what the F are you thinking? So
yeah, and at least your Giants went into Washington and won handily. Yeah, I had the Commanders win that game.
Okay, so half of New York Giants Nation, by the way, is just depressed about it too. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you later. See you tomorrow. And that is the last show of the week. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving in the States. Congratulations to the Montreal Alouettes, Grey Cup champions. Poor Blue Bombers, man, couldn't get their third, man. Those poor son bitches.
Well, the Argos fans aren't feeling bad now because they got beat by the Grey Cup champions.
Yeah. So. All right, everybody. Peace out.